What you need? Okay.
Are we doing okay?
I think so. We're just waiting for the attorney, I think.
I have something up there.
Yeah, Bolt. Yes,
The meeting is being live streamed.
I thought I said okay to that already.
yeah, he says, okay, wait for Bolton.
Bolton? Okay.
Yes, Bolton is there.
Your English is good.
No, I'm not good. I'm trying.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Mr. Garcia.
Judge, my jacket doesn't really match my slacks I'm wearing, but
Hey, I just faxed that paperwork from Oklahoma, and that other extradition papers are on my desk. Yeah, with what I just.
All right, Mr.
faxed, they
Bolton,
just-
if you will look at the bottom of your device, there's 3 dots. If you will click the 3-dot menu,
yes, sir.
there you go. Okay. Can you hear Mr. Perales now?
Thank you.
So you,
Let's see.
are you able to hear the interpreter in English?
Is he saying anything? I can't hear if he's speaking, I can't hear him.
Okay, so go to the bottom of your phone where it says
Yes, sir.
the 3 dots are. Tap on that and look for interpretation in English. Is that correct, Mr. Perales? So, Mr. Bolton, you'll be looking for language interpretation. If you don't see it, the font on your phone may be too big. You may have to scroll up to find it on your screen. You'll be looking for language interpretation, and then you'll need to select English so that you're in the English channel while my interpreter and Mr. Nino are on the Spanish channel, and then we'll be simultaneous.
All right, I clicked on the little thingy.
I can hear you
There.
fine now. Did you select English?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Perales. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. This is writ number WR 21-00039 in the matter of Pedro Nino. Mr. Bolton, I believe that you filed a writ seeking a bail reduction. Before we move forward, I'm going to swear in the court-appointed interpreter, Mr. Leonardo Perales. Mr. Perales, if you'll raise your right hand. Mr. Perales, do you swear to make a true translation from the English language to Spanish and Spanish back to English today in today's proceeding? And what is your license number? Thank you, Mr. Perales. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Judge. You're pleased with the court. Mr. Nino, can you hear me? Okay, sir.
All right, Mr. Bolton, are you gonna call Mr. Nino to
Yeah.
testify?
Oh, I was going to. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Has he not been sworn?
No, he has not.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Nino, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Mr. Nino, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth?
Sí.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Judge. All right, Mr. Nino, you understand what you're charged with, the offense of intoxication manslaughter?
No, es la primera vez que lo escucho.
Okay, you understand the state's alleging you were driving while intoxicated, and as a result of that offense, someone was death resulted to another individual.
Sí, señor.
Okay, now, you understand that your bond is currently set at $100,000,
Sí, señor.
and you understand that a bond company would charge you somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% to post that $100,000 bond, and that they'd get you out of jail, right?
Sí.
Okay, you understand that we're asking the court to have that $100,000 bond reduced to something that you believe would be more reasonable to guarantee your appearance in court.
Sí, sí.
Okay, now, Mr. Nino, do you have a job?
Sí, señor.
Where do you work?
General utility.
Okay, what kind of work is it that you do at J&L Utility?
Ground hand. Ground hand. Trabajo ayudante de cubeta.
Okay, tell me what that means. That's kind of an industry term. What exactly do you do? Tell me if you've never explained to somebody what you do before, explain it to me like I don't know what you're talking about.
Yo trabajo en la luz. Le ayudo al asentar los postes de línea. Ayudo a arreglar los postes de línea. También luz y también le ayudo al de la cubeta, al que sube arriba a conectar los alambres, a darle todo lo necesario para que conecten las luces eléctricas.
Okay. Now, how long have you held that job?
Todo completo tengo como 20 años.
Okay. And you actually have that job waiting for you when you get out of jail, don't you?
Sí. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any family in the area? Any family in Van Zant County?
Sí. Tengo en Benson County y tengo en Kaufman County también.
Okay. And where do you live? What county?
Benson County.
How long have you lived in Van Zant County?
Tengo como unos 18 años, de 15 a 18 años trabajando, viviendo en Benson County y tengo casa propia en Benson County. Tengo como 10 años que compré mi casa 9 o 10 años que compré mi casa en Benson County. Estoy en proceso de... No. No.
Do you have any dependents, any children?
Tengo una relación con una muchacha en México. Somos novios, entre comillas. Ella tiene 2 niñas y yo le proveo para sus estudios a ella. Y le proveo a la muchacha para que se ayude. Porque en México es duro. No se completa el dinero y le proveo dinero y ropa para las niñas.
Okay. Are you a U.S. citizen?
No.
What is your status in this country? Do you have a green card, or
No.
are you here legally or illegally?
Ilegal.
Okay. Do you have any prior criminal history?
No creo.
Okay. Have you ever had a DWI before?
Una vez. Hace 10 años.
Okay. Okay. Anything other than that one DWI from 10 years ago?
No creo, no me acuerdo.
Okay. Now, you understand a bond is a promise to appear in court.
Sí, señor.
Okay. With a lower bond, will that still guarantee your appearance in court when you need to be there?
Sí, señor. Yo tengo casi mi vida hecha aquí. Tengo mi casa, mis cosas, mi familia aquí.
Okay. So if we were to ask the court for a bond in the amount of $35,000 to $50,000, that would be lower than $100,000, right?
Seguro que sí.
Yes, sir. And that would that lowered amount would still be sufficient to make sure that you show up in court when you're supposed to.
Seguro que sí.
All right. Can you, with your financial situation and your obligations, you can't afford the current $100,000 bond, can you?
No.
All right. And as long as the bond is at this amount, it's all but guaranteed you're going to remain in jail because you can't post that amount. Is that correct?
Pues yo creo que sí. La verdad, no sé yo mis limitaciones son pocas.
Let me ask you
Depende de-
this, Mr. Nino. Okay. Mr. Nino, you understand that the judge can put conditions on your bond, meaning there are things that you will have to do while you're out of jail, while your case is pending. Do you understand that?
Estoy consciente de eso.
Okay. And some of those conditions might include no alcohol.
Seguro que sí.
Okay.
Yo,
And I'm sorry.
una cosa, yo antes iba a la iglesia, estuve estudiando para el seminario y duré 10 años sin tomar alcohol. No creo que sea problema dejar de tomar. Por ir para ser pastor.
Okay. And another condition the court will impose is, at the very least, some sort of alcohol monitoring device. Do you have a car, don't you? Do you have a car?
Sí. Yeah.
Okay. You understand the judge can put an interlock device on you, meaning you're going to have to blow into a machine prior to driving to make sure you don't have any alcohol in your system.
Sí, señor.
Okay. And you understand if you violate your bond conditions, or if you don't show up in court when you're supposed to, you can go back to jail.
Sí, señor. Estoy consciente de todo eso.
Okay. All right. So you understand everything that you're going to have to do when you get out of jail, right?
Sí, señor, yo entiendo.
All right. The judge isn't going to have any kind of monkey business. You understand?
No, sí. Yo también estoy consciente de que tengo que cambiar mi vida.
Okay. And with a lower bond amount, do you agree that with a lower bond amount, you'll be more able to post a bond to get out of jail and assist with your own defense?
Seguro que sí.
All right. I'm going to let the prosecutor ask you some questions. If you'll answer the prosecutor with whatever questions he has, please.
Mr. Woodwike, any questions for Mr. Nino?
Mr. Nino, when were you arrested?
El 31 de mayo.
And by my calculation, you've been in jail about 37 days, correct?
Sí, señor.
You said you have a house. Do you own your house, sir?
Estoy en proceso de ponerla. Ya acabé de pagar todos los pagos. Nada más que se me ha atrasado en pagarla, en ponerla a mi nombre.
You said you had a car. Do you own your car?
Tengo una troquita, sí. Outro.
Do you have a loan on it or do you own it?
No. Mi casa está pagada y mi troca está pagada. Es una troquita viejita, chiquita. Es enough for you to work, para ir a trabajar.
How much is your house worth,
Hey,
sir?
Brian,
Yes.
are you on the phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind.
De 30, 40 mil. 50.
Judge, I would pass witness.
Mr. Bolton, any additional questions for your client?
No more questions, Judge.
Any other witnesses or evidence?
No, we'll rest for purposes of this hearing.
State, do you have any testimony to offer evidence?
No, Your Honor, we would rest at this time. for
All right,
this
go ahead,
purpose.
Go ahead for the argument, Mr. Bolton.
Judge, we'd asked for a lower bond based on the defendant's testimony and the fact that he's been in jail for more than a month. The current bond amount we think is unreasonably high, and it's something he's not able to make. If the court were to lower the bond to $35,000 to $50,000, defendant would still have enough skin in the game to guarantee his appearance in court, as well as complying with any sort of conditions the judge seems fit to impose, such as, of course, interlock and no alcohol. He understands what his consequences are if he violates those conditions. We'd ask for that bond to be lowered to a more reasonable amount that he can post and still maintain, his ability to appear in court as directed by the court. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bolton. Mr. Woodwhite.
Judge, state would oppose. Mr. Nino has stated he does have resources, I believe in excess, that he could offer as collateral for a loan, something of that nature. Additionally, given the nature of the charge and the fact that he's only been in, I understand 37 days, but state does not yet have a report on this. I believe we're still waiting on autopsies, those kinds of records. We would oppose this at this time.
Is it my understanding Mr. Nino is charged with one count of intoxication manslaughter, or is it multiple?
Judge, based on what I can find in the court, in the sheriff's records, there is one charge. I don't know if there's multiple counts or more to come, but at this time he's being held on one count of intoxication manslaughter.
Okay. All right, then based on the evidence presented, the court's going to find that Mr. Nino, due to the seriousness of the accusation against him, the fact that he is not a United States citizen, is here illegally, and does have assets to offer as collateral, the court's going to find that $100,000 bail is not unreasonable or oppressive in this situation under these circumstances. And also, court finds that with a prior criminal history, that there is a issue with safety to the community. Court will reconsider this ruling if Mr. Nino obviously is not indicted within 90 days. So if he's not indicted within 90 days, Mr. Bolton, if you'll bring us back before the court, then obviously we'll comply with the Code of Criminal Procedure in that respect.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the time of the court, Judge.
You're welcome, Mr. Bolton. All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Nino. Ms. Morales, can you stick by for just one moment? All right, I'm gonna ask you to join me in a breakout room. Do you have a moment? Do you have another court hearing?
Your Honor, are we finished with Mr. Nino?
Okay, it'll be just one moment. No, I don't need Mr. Nino.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's bien.
Yeah.
All right, who do we have available in the courtroom? Do we have Richard Schmitz or Brian Schmitz? I've got Mr. Murleader in the online waiting room. I don't want to bring them in until I know their clients are up.
We have him.
You have who?
This is Mr. Fulton, or, excuse me, Mr. Horton.
All right, court calls 2021-90, CR 21-126, CR 21-127, State versus John David Horton. Show that we're set for arraignment in the CR cases and pretrial in the misdemeanor case. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt.
That is correct, Judge. In the misdemeanor case, we don't have any contested pretrial. As far as the arraignments are concerned, I've discussed the charges with Mr. Horton. He understands what he's been charged with. His name is spelled correctly. We waive formal reading. enter a plea not guilty, ask that these matters be set for pretrial.
Do you have a date in mind, Mr. Schmidt?
August 10th.
Okay. All right, the court will enter Mr. Horton's pleas of not guilty to the aggravated assault public servant in CR 21-126 and 127. Court will set Mr. Horton on his criminal mischief for docket call on August 10th and set the other two for pretrial same date. And that will be at 1:30 as long as Mr. Horton is in jail, 9 a.m. if he's on bail.
Yes, sir. That's all I have, Judge. Can I be excused?
Okay, yes. And so just for the record, CR 21-176, State versus Carl Lynn Fulton. I see a waiver of arraignment filed and granted with trial set August 10th. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor,
Ma'am.
we do have Mr. Templin in the room now for Mr. Brian Schmidt, because I understand he's Zooming, but I wasn't aware of the status of the other attorneys, Ms. Ann Thompson or Ashmore or Murleader, as far as Zooming or not.
Mr. Murleader is Zooming, and he's the only other one. Mr. Schmidt's just been brought in. So if Mr. Templin's available, we'll have him step up.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir.
All right, this is cause number CR 2196, State versus Christopher Lee Templin. Hearing on motion to revoke. Go ahead, Mr. Schmidt. You're muted. You new to Zoom, sir?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
I've actually never used it on my cell phone before, just on my iPad. I'm over at the courthouse. Judge, I was just actually retained on this case last week. And they gave me a copy of the violations and opened the portal up to me. And so I had a very, very brief conversation with Ms. Heisel. But I would ask for a reset. I went and visited with my client on Friday to talk to him about the motion. And obviously I'm not ready to proceed today.
Mr. Schmidt, I'm looking at my calendar. I see that we have a contested docket at the end of the month. That would be that'd be three weeks and 2 days. I think I'm just going to go ahead and set it on the contested docket. And then if you are not ready on that date, then y'all can just announce and let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and set it on that contested date and hope that there is a resolution on that day.
Which date would that be, Your Honor?
That would be July 29th. And we'll do it in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
So
That'd be perfect.
yeah. So we'll set that at 1:30 on July 29th. And that would be the contested docket. So I would anticipate that unless there's a good reason not to go forward, then we'll be ready to have a contested hearing that day if it doesn't result in a plea agreement.
That sounds perfect. May I ask my client a quick question while he's in there, Judge?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Chris?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I can't see you, but of that number one and those number two options, which did you want me to pursue? Number one or number two?
Number one, please.
Okay. That's all I need, Judge. Thank you.
All right. So Mr. Templin, we'll see you back on July 29th at 1:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, be excused.
Sir, yes, sir.
Bye.
See ya. All right, I've got we have any of Mr. Murleader's clients? Which would be,
No, sir, because
okay, Dylan Schroeder.
he had told me he was gonna file a motion for continuance, so I did not bring his up, but we'll get him.
Oh, hang on, you said he did file a motion for continuance?
He told me he was going to, like at 12:30, that he had a case in Cherokee County.
Well, let's just bring him in and we'll ask him. See
Okay.
what he wants to do with Mr. Schroeder.
And then on Ms. Thompson's case, she was the one that she filed the order but not the motion. And I had emailed her back about that.
She filed a motion, she filed an order on continuance, but not a motion.
Yes, sir. And you sent it back to me and asked where the motion was. And
Okay,
I emailed her last week.
and you haven't heard from her?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, have you reached out to her office today?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Barker, if you're watching, will you contact Ms. Thompson and see if she received Ms. Abraham's email from last week? We anticipate having a hearing today. I don't believe she filed a motion for continuance. If she did file it, it was not accepted nor presented to the court. So, all right, Mr. Murleader, we were just talking about you. Your client's not been brought up yet. Ms. Abraham said that you gave her the impression that you were going to be filing a motion for continuance. So we didn't know whether we were supposed to bring Mr. Schroeder up or not. What's the status on that?
So Judge, I don't know if you remember from maybe 2 months back, but this was the cases that I was appointed on, and Mr. Schroeder did not show up to court, and I told the court that he had hung up on me the last time I tried to speak to him about appearing in court. And then he had all of his bonds forfeited, and after I think about a month and a half, he was back in jail. I was notified about 2 weeks ago, and I've been in heavy preparation for this murder trial that I have coming up in next week, and I haven't been able to visit with him. I was just going to ask for more time, but I think I will put that on the record just for the purpose of preserving that and letting the court know that I'm going to visit with him, but I would like to continuance on this case, as well as all the 3 cases that he has: CR 20-00310, CR 21-0037, and CR 21-0038.
All right, is this Mr. Schroeder here at the podium?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, this is cause number CR 2310, CR 2137, CR 2138, State versus Dillon. Andrew Schroeder. Mr. Schroeder set for pretrial in the latter numbers and docket call in the earlier. Go ahead, Mr. Murleader.
Judge, as I was telling you right up before we were on the record, I didn't have a chance to meet with Mr. Schroeder after he had been incarcerated. I found out about 2 weeks ago that he'd been in jail, and I just haven't been able to find time to meet with him. As I told the court, I'm going to file a continuance for all 3 of the cases. So the court has that on the record. I believe the state is unopposed, and I'm just going to ask for an additional month so I can sit down and review all the cases with Mr. Schroeder. In addition to these cases, Your Honor, Ms. Heisel, who is the prosecutor on Mr. Schroeder's case, informed me that she's most likely going to be pursuing an indictment for bail jumping and failure to appear because he missed court when it was last scheduled. So that's going to be an additional felony. I will just let the court know that if the state does plan on pursuing that, I feel I have to file a motion to withdraw because I feel like I'm a witness in that, especially informing Mr. Schroeder about court and our communications back and forth. But I will file a motion for all these 3 cases, Your Honor, for a motion for continuance.
Have you reviewed the discovery in the aggravated assault deadly weapon charges?
Only the police report and the probable cause affidavit and the unsworn declaration from the complaining witness. I hadn't reviewed any of the discovery from the other 2 cases. And Judge, I've given Mr. Schroeder, prior to his absconding, numerous times to come to our office. He was a no-show for a couple times, and after he missed court, I just haven't been able to go see him.
State, do you have a position?
They would be unopposed to resetting, given Mr. Murleader's situation in respect to him.
And Judge, I'll just let the court also know, I've received a plea offer from Ms. Heisel for 10 years TDCJ with a $3,000 or $3,500 fine. Mr. Schroeder has already rejected that plea offer So these cases are most likely going to be scheduled for trial. So I just wanted one final opportunity to review everything with him before he finally makes any other announcement or if there's any other plea negotiation at all.
Do you anticipate any contested pretrial motions?
From the assault, family violence, and the aggravated assault with deadly weapon, possibly. From the vantage point of his statements that were made in association with that.
All right, but you didn't file any pretrial motions prior to today?
I did not.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all three cases for docket call, and if there's a pretrial issue that's going to need a hearing, then you can file a motion for leave to pursue that. And you want August 10th or August 12th for the reset date?
August 12th, Judge.
Okay. All right. So we're going to set Mr. Schroeder for docket call on all three cases, August 12th at 1:30. Mr. Schroeder, if you make bail in this case, your hearing will be at 9 a.m. If you remain in jail, then the court will have you brought up at 1:30.
Is there any way I can just the best you can?
All right, Mr. Murley, do you have anyone else on the docket today, or is that just Mr. Schroeder?
That was it, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you for accommodating me, Judge.
Hey, absolutely. You're very welcome. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Thompson appears to going to be joining us via Zoom in just a few moments, so we'll wait.
All right, Your Honor, Mr. Tippett. We have Montana Tippett. He did not have a attorney. He has filled out his affidavit of indigency while we've been out here this afternoon. And he appears to be eligible. He had Deborah Beasley in the past. He's on the motion to revoke now. So if we can reset him.
And you're going to be appointing Ms. Beasley?
Yes, sir.
Do we know when Ms. Beasley may be back? Is there a way to look that up in LGS?
She may be on the 7/13 docket.
I'm just looking through here to see if I can find this. And our system doesn't list them by attorneys, so I'm just gonna have to look at all of them.
Yes, sir.
Haven't seen her name pop up yet. I'm looking on 715 now. Just going through case by case. All right, I don't show that she's set either day. So do you know which one she's typically better for, Tuesday or Thursday?
I believe Thursdays.
All right, let's set Mr. Tippett then for July 15th, be next Thursday. At 1:30.
Judge, are you appointing Ms. Beasley?
Yes, that's what Ms. Abraham said, that he's eligible and has had Ms. Beasley, so we're just gonna appoint Ms. Beasley again.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So I will go ahead and open discovery for her right now.
Okay, thank you.
Once I get back to the courthouse, I'm gonna type the letter with the order appointing her. I'll send you a copy because then you'll have her information.
Thank you.
But how to contact Ms. Beasley.
I've already had my people contact her through email and whatnot.
We have Ms. Thompson, we got Mr. Estrada.
And Ms. Thompson is in the online waiting room whenever we're ready.
Mr. Estrada, come on up, sir.
All right, we're gonna bring her in.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, we're bringing her in. Gonna let her get connected to audio. All right, here we go. Cause number CR 20-40 State versus Matthew Estrada set on the state's motion to revoke today. Good afternoon, Ms. Thompson. It's my understanding that there was an attempt, I believe, to file a motion for continuance in this case. However, there was never a motion filed to my knowledge, and I've checked the e-file, I checked the clerk's case. I received an order on continuance, but never a motion. I believe Ms. Tabraham
Yes, sir.
emailed you last week, but anyway, we never heard anything, so we just left it remaining today.
Yes, sir. Both the motion and the order were filed on June the 14th. I have the envelope thing where it was. However, I don't know why it didn't come through. We were contacted by Miss Tabraham, I believe, and told that it had not come through. So my daughter e-filed it or emailed it to Waynet, which was the mistake I think that happened here. Should have been e-filed into the case and wasn't the motion. The order, according to them, what they already had. So it was just, I don't know, some sort of mistake that it didn't get done, but it was tried, attempted to do the right thing in this case, because at the time, I had just been appointed on June the 11th on the case, had not received the state's motion to revoke. There was other information and stuff I was trying to get, and at the time I was already set in Henderson County in some cases at that date and time.
Is there still an issue today with, have you received all the discovery in the state's motion for today?
I have received all of that as of now, Your Honor. I did email, I think the wrong prosecutor. I emailed Ms. Heisel, and I believe it was Mr. Woodick that I should be talking to, and to try to see what he recommended. Additionally, Mr. Estrada's family has brought his finances, is my understanding, all up to date. So I was trying to see what kind of a possibility of reinstatement or agreement I could work out with Mr. Woodick.
So does the state have offers on this case?
Judge, it's actually the reverse. Ms. Thompson and I spoke very briefly about this case, but it's actually Ms. Heisel's case. She's correct, it's just reversed. I did extend an offer to her, but without having all of the details. I believe her discussions would be better suited with Ms. Heisel. I'm not sure if there have been further discussions. There has been an offer made, but given whatever information that Ms. Thompson may have to relay to us, I'm hopeful we can reach an agreement.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's set Mr. Estrada on the court's contested docket on July 29th. That'll give us several weeks to see if we can't reach an agreement. So 7/29. You have any conflicts that day, Thompson?
No, I do not, Your Honor. That would be just fine.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're kind of making a change around here. That is the court's contested docket, and Mr. Estrada is in custody. So we're going to set it in the afternoon at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Estrada, we'll see you back on July 29th at 1:30. Ms. Thompson, I appreciate you getting zoomed in for us.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. You have a good day. All right, who do we have now, Mr. Abraham?
We have Christopher Morris. He also did not have an attorney today. He has completed his paperwork. He was just released from prison on June the 18th and immediately was picked up by Van Zandt County. So I'm going to appoint him Jonathan Manning. And he is set for arraignment, the next docket.
You said he's set for arraignment on did you say the next docket?
Well, I mean, for today, he was set for
Yes.
arraignment.
All right, and we don't know when Mr. Manning's going to be back.
No, sir.
Let's set, I'll tell you what, let me go look and see if I can't figure it out. I really wish LGS would would let us sort by attorney name, that would make our lives really easy.
Yes, sir. That was one of the requests that we've made.
Judge, I know it's short, but it appears Mr. Manning will be back on Thursday in the morning. That's all I show.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some more time. That way, if he wants to meet with him and follow a waiver. Give me a second. I'm gonna go review my past dockets and see when I've reset him. Give me just a moment. Did you say Mr. Manning's going to be here Thursday? Is it morning or afternoon? Do you know?
I think he said, Tyler said morning. Is that
Mr.
correct,
Manning
Tyler?
is set at 9 o'clock on Thursday. That's as far as the dockets I have handy go.
All right, I'm gonna set him with Mr. Manning on July 15th. I want to give Mr. Manning as much notice as possible. So July 15th at 1:30 for arraignment. All right, who else? Is Mr. Ashford going to appear on Mr. Philip Myers?
Sir,
Mr. Ashmore, is he here? Is he there on Philip
no,
Myers?
Okay, I have Ronald Brown.
All right, go ahead.
He has completed his affidavit of indigency just a few minutes ago, and he is eligible, and I'm going to appoint Richard Smith.
All right, set Mr. Brown also for July 15th for arraignment at 1:30. And I'm not sure, Schmidt had some vacation letters in. I can't remember what they are. So really good chance that he's not going to be available on that date.
Okay, those can go back. He's Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Judge.
So Mr. Stevens was a
Yes,
7-2 on Joshua Hand.
can we talk about that? I've been notified by the jail staff that he's a florist, and
That-
so
that he's- I
we
didn't hear
just
that.
recessed
Hang on, I heard
that
you,
he'll run,
hang on. I heard you say that you were informed by jail staff. That's all I heard.
that he is a flight risk. He will run. So can I just go back and have his reset signed?
You mean while he's shackled from hands and feet, he'll run while he's in jail?
That's what Aaron told me. Deputy McLeish told me.
Is Deputy McLeish in there? Well,
That's
is Bill
right, not at the moment.
is Bill Stevens here? We can't do anything.
No,
about
sir,
Bill.
you know, we didn't, you signed that on Friday.
But was he not aware that he had one on the docket?
I faxed it to him late Friday afternoon.
After you're ready to go back. Thank you.
Tell you what, I'm gonna stand in recess. I'm gonna try to contact Mr. Stevens and see if I can't get him to zoom in. So maybe we can do an arraignment on Mr. Hand.
Judge, I show Mr. Hand and Mr. Myers. Those are our only two left. Is that correct?
What I show, is Mr. Ashmore out there?
No, sir, he was just calling me a minute ago.
Okay, all right. If you'll call Mr. Ashmore, I'll call Mr. Stevens. And then perhaps have Aaron call me on the hand.
Okay.
Patty, it took me a minute to log on, but I'm in. Thank you.
Mr. Myers, if you'll make your way to the podium. All right, this is cause number CR 2299, State versus Philip Patrick Myers, set for pretrial today, Mr. Ashmore.
Yes, Judge. And although we do not anticipate having any contested pretrial motions and have filed none, just one, I want to apologize for not being there in person. I'm just misread the jail docket. I wouldn't have left this morning, Your Honor. So I apologize. Two, the state has not yet been able to extend me an offer on this matter. So we're just asking for a docket reset so we can have time to negotiate further. And at this point, I will make a formal request because it doesn't look like the entire file's been shared with our firm on the portal. So I'll make that directly to Ms. Heisel and Mr. Woodwike. But I think that will facilitate us being able to negotiate this.
All right,
Your Honor.
There being no contested pretrial motions, court will set this for docket call on August 10th at 1:30. And Mr. Woodwike have just asked that if there's an offer going to be made, that it be made well in advance so that Mr. Ashmore can speak with Mr. Myers about it. He can make an informed decision.
Absolutely, Judge. And I am looking and making sure that Mr. Ashmore has everything that we have as well.
All right, we'll see you back on August 10th.
Your Honor.
Right, I've gotten.
Yes, Judge. Thank you. May I excuse, Judge?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ashmore. No response from Mr. Stevens on Mr. Hand. So let's reset Mr. Hand. Looking here to see if this morning, if Mr.
Judge, I think we pled Mr. Stevens one case this morning, so I don't believe it's been reset to anything specific.
Let's reset Mr. Hand then for arraignment on July 15th. And if you'll just notice a setting back there to Mr. Hand and tell him to take off his running shoes, and we'll see him on the 15th.
Will do, Your Honor. And we do have Mr. Cisneros up here when you're ready for him, sir.
All right, I'll need to review all that paperwork. It was just brought to me a little while ago.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Judge, who is that?
It's an extradition.
Oh, thank you, Judge. I believe that's all the business the state has. May I be excused?
The state may be excused, Mr. Woodwicki. I've got a list.